Hi everyone, welcome back to Eleanor's Restoration, video 27. I don't know how I've managed to do 27 videos on Eleanor alone. I've nearly been uploading for 2 years next month, and it doesn't feel like it because this is my hobby, this is my passion, I really enjoy it. Sharing it with you guys is just an added bonus. You know, I've been doing the restoration a few years before putting the YouTube videos on, as you know, but I've really enjoyed it and I'm still looking forward to it. It's like an obsession, as anyone out there will say. But in this video I'm going to look at, well, I'm not going to look at, I am going to finish the front subframe because it's been a wee while I've been working on that now, and I'm really pleased with the way it's went and the way things has turned out. I wouldn't have done the subframe in that order had it not been my arm injury, but that's kind of forced me to do things that I can use one arm with and that I can get a help with, so yeah, that's kind of why I've focused on that. And I'm looking forward to getting back to some bigger projects once I can, once my injury is healed, which I am working on, but that's not for you guys to worry about. So once I finish this, I'm going to look on moving on to something else, and when the weather gets better I also want to move on to doing bits and pieces with Ed, just to get him running a bit better and handling a bit better, because I've done a few bits and pieces with him, but I don't know the history before I bought them. You know, I don't know how long things were left, if they were ever checked, just standard things that I want to get into and upgrading things. So yeah, what I'm going to do in this video is finish off the subframe. Some of the bits I done during the brake rebuild, but I never put in the video because I wanted to keep all the brakes on the same video. So I'll put a couple of bits and pieces I've done on that, and I'll include what I'm doing now, and then that'll be it finished. So thanks for following me on the rebuild and the strip down of it. I would also like to say, you've probably noticed my t-shirt here, say thank you to Dave Jaguar for the t-shirt. Really good quality, I'm really pleased with it. So yep, enjoy the last video on the subframe and let's go. Right, torque bolts. The adapter came, so we're going to start off with the 4 ball joint bolts. These are to be 52 Newton meters, so same procedure as before, just going round with a torque wrench and getting it all torqued up. Okay, let's get those grease nipples greased up. I'm going to use, it's just a manual grease gun here. I've filled it up with grease. After expelling the air, I'm ready to go. So the grease nipples on the Mini, or the ones I've done so far should I say, each side there's one on the top ball joint, and then the other side onto the bottom ball joint, and onto the top arm here. So that's 3 per side needing greased up. Right, so grease gun, just a pop fit. And start pumping the grease in. See that pop in there, you hear the popping. Basically means it's filled with grease. See the excess grease is coming out there. And it's also coming out under the cap here, so that's filled with grease, so perfect. I just need to now go and do that with all the other grease nipples around the front subframe. So it takes slightly longer to fill the inside, the top arm, because it's obviously more room, but you can see at the edge there, you know when it's filled because the grease seeps out each edge. So I'm just going to clean all that up, and that'll be me done. So all 6 greased up, quite happy with that. Another job off the list. Done. Right, this is the steady bar for the right hand side of the gearbox that attaches onto the subframe. I'm just going to refurbish this at the moment and then stick it back on the subframe so it's ready to go in the car. I don't have to worry about it later on. So I'm just going to refurb the bar. The bar's in quite a good condition, and I've got new bolts, washers, bushes and everything. The nut on this side refers to the opposite on this side. So start here first, this top end. First thing to come off, nut, spring washer, flat small washer, and the pin comes out. And on this side you've got another flat washer, and then the bolt. That obviously sits in the middle, like that. Bottom side, bolt, not even, spring washer, small washer, bigger washer, bolt comes out, small washer, and that. Inside, 2 ferrules and a bush either side. Right, the gearbox steady bar rebuild. I've given this some coats of primer, black gloss and lacquer. Now it's all dried ready to go, so I went for the superior bushes, so they're a bit tougher. I did look at poly bushes, but I read online that they gave more shudder when you were driving. I didn't want that. So they fit fairly well without any or anything like that. So the 2 rubbers push in like that, then you've got the ferrule that goes in. Sticking out slightly, so I might just need to tap it in gently with a hammer and something flat. It's not going to damage it. So as you can see, that's them evenly in. All I've done was use one of these wee tools here. You get different sizes that go in the end. You've seen me use it before. Put it in the end, tap it into place. So now that's all been refurbed and put together, I've just attached it to the bracket on the subframe here. Once it's tightened up, it does pull the bush in closer. You can see on the top one, until it is tightened up, the bushes have still got a slight bit of play in it, but that's normal. So yeah, that's that now fully on. The battery cable, I'm sure it served the car well, but had to go. Same as when I stripped the last one down, I cleaned the bolts and the spacers, etc. I got new P-clips and I've installed it. So new clips here. For the routing of this, I'm not going to go into detail because you see me taking it off, but attaches on the top here, it then goes underneath, attaches at the back. At the very back here, it attaches through the spacer. You can see it comes through the hole here, comes through the hole here, and what I've done at the back is just cable tied it to the subframe so it's not flapping about. And I'll do the same with this, to be honest, so it doesn't get damaged or anything like that. And the last piece to go on, so I need to turn the pipe here from this one, which is the old one, into a new one using just this. I'm obviously not going to cover this again, I covered it in the last video, but it's the same procedure. Brake unions, brake pipe. Bearing in mind the difference being that the end here is imperial and the end that goes to the pressure regulating valve is metric. So just bear that in mind, otherwise you will get leaks. I think it's been done many times before. So yep, let's get this made up and get it on the car and see what it looks like. So the old one, the new one's been made up and is on. There we go, there's the new one in place. Let's have a look. It might need slightly tweaking once it's all fitted to the car and this ends to go in, but the good thing with the copper pipe is it's fairly pliable, so that's no problem at all. What I will do is I'll just stick something over the end here to stop any dirt or dust or anything getting in. But that's the last piece of the puzzle for the front subframe, at least. There she lies, the finished subframe. Almost finished. I have got a few little things to do and they're on my list. So basically torquing the castle nuts and putting the split pins in. They're not easy to do when it's up on this little bench here. It's easier when it's on the ground and when I've got some leverage, so I'll do that once it's on the ground. I've got a few other bits and pieces I need to do, like touching up with paint and things that's been chipped. Just with being stored. It's not ideal storing it next to a working garage, but as I've said loads of times, I've got limited space, so I work with what I've got. But looking at it, I'm very pleased. You know, it's just what I've taken it from and what I've taken it to, and it's taken quite a long time, purely because I've been doing a few hours at a time. Thanks for everyone for their comments on this, thanks for following it. Hopefully someone got something from it. You know, I'm really enjoying this restoration and I enjoy bringing the videos, so I've said it loads of times before, I'll keep making them if people keep watching them. Otherwise I'll just be here doing it, you know. And I've met some really good people through YouTube, through the community, so you know, it's all positive for me. Right, I thought I would just add a bit onto the end of this video, just to answer some of the comments from the last video. There were a few things pointed out and asked, so yep, I'm going to cover them just now. I really do appreciate comments, whether it's offering advice, offering experience, criticism. You know, I'm thick-skinned, I'll take anything. I am working my way through and I'm learning as I go. I'm passing on some things I've done before and I'm always learning, so anything you guys notice, please tell me, good or bad. Very much appreciated. So the comments I had were in relation to some of the bits and pieces of the brakes, so I'm just going to pass them on and share with you guys. One of the first comments was by the DJSE, asked by Alex. He was mentioning that this part of the caliper here, when I first screwed that in, it just went in thread to thread, and what he was asking about the washer that goes in between there. Yep, absolutely right, there should be a copper washer. That's a copper gasket washer that sits between here and the flexi hose. So it basically goes over like that and then screws in as it was screwed in before. It just obviously holds a better seal and stops any leaks. So yep, cheers for that one, Alex. Right, my second comment was from Mark Piper. Mark comments and gives a lot of advice to a lot of the guys on the mini YouTube community, so first of all, thanks Mark for your advice and your expertise. He made the comment about the female flare, which is this one here. If you look on online forums, the opinions split about what kind of flare goes on here, but what this flare was a single flare, and what Mark had said was to have a better sealing in here, you're better with the double flare, and all that does is basically you make your single flare and you fold this side back on itself, so it makes this circumference here stronger, and it also gives a better seal around the union. So what I'm going to do here is just show you quickly how to make a double flare. So there you go, double flare. Compared to this one here, you can see it's a lot smoother around it for a sealing surface, and also it's a lot stronger because it's folded back on itself, so that's the difference. Right, the final comment was by DeGowley83 on about mentioning how these flexi hoses are sided, which basically means that they're specific to each side, so one's got a left hand side, one's got a right hand side. I did quite a bit of research on this because if you can see the flexi hoses I have got here, they're identical in every way. There's no markings on them to distinguish between. I've also measured using brake unions and they do go down the same depth, so they are identical. And my understanding was that they were sided. You have one that's on the right hand side which houses the banjo bolt, so because of this the internal thread is deeper, and obviously the left hand side the internal thread is shorter. So because these were the same, it got me into doing a bit of research. The online information is quite split, I found. On the mini forums, I would say a lot of them said basically, yep, they are sided, they have to be specific to a side, whereas some others have found that no, they have had the exact same ones. So not very clear as mud. So I emailed a few of the mini parts companies. Firstly, the one I use the most is Bull Motif mini spares. They got back to me saying that they are identical and they always have been identical. And when I basically asked them about the other information I was getting, they seemed to take offence and said that if I want to follow other people's advice, then that's up to me, but they were identical and always had been. On mini spares, it clearly states in the description that they're sided and to be aware of that. So, conflicting information. So what I decided to do was, these are obviously Goodridge braided hoses. I sent an email to Goodridge, who came back and told me yes, they should be sided and there should be a noticeable difference on the internal thread. So I went through my paperwork that I had for these braided hoses and I found this. They have sent me the wrong brake hoses. Mine's is for an 84 plus because it's the disc brakes. So I contacted them, the company, and they apologised, saying it was obviously a picking error and they would send out the new ones straight away. So straight away the new ones, well, straight away, within a few days, came. Already you can see on this one here, OSF, offside front. And if you look down, huge noticeable difference. Obviously this one is a lot deeper for the banjo bolt as what I was expecting the first time, and this one's for the left hand side. So there's a wee lesson. Check that you've got the right parts. I don't know why I didn't check that. I didn't see this to start with. It was in the bottom of the envelope that luckily I kept. The only reason I did keep it was because it was part of a kit for the rear ones, and obviously I wanted to keep these all together, so yeah. So the motto there is basically double check everything and don't take for granted that the parts you're getting are the correct ones. People make mistakes. Bull Motif obviously gave me not the correct information, so also be aware of what the experts are telling you. So anyway, it's resolved now. I can get all these brakes back on, and again, because of these comments, led me to look into this, and I've got a satisfactory conclusion before the brakes were on the car and leaked everywhere. So yep, so just be aware of these things, guys. Like I say, hopefully by me doing this you can learn by how I'm doing it, by my mistakes, and if I can save one person any of these issues, it's all been worth it. So I also asked about this union, and one chish came back with a comment. He's telling me that it was basically put on to aid production. When they put it on in the factory, it was easier to put on in two separate bits, so there's no reason why it can't be just one pipe. To be honest, that'll probably make it a lot easier, and there's one less place for it to leak and corrode. I've kept it at this at the moment. I can always change it before it goes back in, but I want to keep it fairly standard, so that's why I've went for this. But that's the reason for that, so thanks very much, Wunchus, if I'm saying it correctly. Cheers. You can see my pot ends have been sealed so it doesn't get any dust in them. So to Alex and Mark and Wunchus, thanks very much for your comments, guys, and thanks for pointing out the bits and pieces I'd missed or could have done better. Really appreciate it, and I'll always listen to comments and feedback, and I'll always pass them on to you guys, so keep them coming. So guys, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!